Yo, it's me, Sam from Grip and Ripped Coaching and Training, talking all things health and fitness. And this week we're going to interview Gareth, who's a mate of mine. I'm going to hand you over now. He's going to introduce himself. We're going to talk about all things body image.
Hey Sam, thanks for having me on, bud. Looking forward to it. Hey everyone, I'm Gareth. I'm a wedding photographer, personal trainer, and handyman. Body image is something I've suffered with my whole life, fluctuating throughout it, and so yeah, let's get on with this.
Cheers, Gareth. So me and Gareth are very, very similar, but come from two complete opposite ends of the spectrum. So when I was younger, I suffered massively with being too skinny. And Gareth was at the other end of the spectrum. So between us, we're going to kind of cover both ends. Myself, I was 8 stone wringing wet at 5'10", and Gareth believed he was big, even though he wasn't. So do you want to talk about that, Gareth? Kind of give us an insight as to what sort of how your mindset was during that time.
So yeah, like Sam said, I've always been, when I was younger, I was always like the fat kid and things like that, even though I was extremely active and I never stood still, never have been able to. It was one of those things that like all the adults used to say, oh, it's just puppy fat, you'll grow out of it, la la la. But obviously in your head, when you're being picked on and things, like, no, I'm just fat, I'm a big kid. And then literally when I left school, one day I sort of woke up and I had lost a hell of a lot of weight. And it was one of those things, obviously, puberty and all that jazz, but it was like the puppy fat had just fallen off. And so throughout my whole life, I've had a image complex in my mind that I'm bigger than I am. Even now, I feel bigger than I actually am, and it's one of those things that sort of gets to you. And I've been smaller than Sam. I think my lowest was I was 7.5 stone, but I looked ill, and I was just training 2-3 times a day, just constantly trying to lose that fat because in my mind I was like 20 odd stone, and it's just one of those things that it personally just messed with my mental health and stuff, and so yeah, throughout life I've yo-yoed, and it's one of those things that there's times where I'm dedicated and full on, and then there's times like this time of year, like around Christmas and stuff, like I let myself go a little bit because I like to eat more, drink more, and stuff like that. And so yeah, there's so many different factors that you can weigh into it and stuff like that.
So that's really interesting, Gareth. So can you send me an image of you when you were really thin, when you thought you were really really big? If you can send that over, if I remember and I've got the skills to do it, I'll drop it in the edit. But that's really, yeah, that's literally the opposite end of the scale. So I was skinny and I was always called skinny. So it's like, oh yeah, you're skinny. But it wasn't even just as a kid. Like all the way through my 20s, I was really skinny. I didn't really get into the whole fitness thing until I was in my late 20s. I'm now 35, 36 this year. If I if I don't do any weightlifting for 2 weeks because of whatever reason, because of Christmas or I've been ill or whatever, I look in the mirror and I like look at myself and I think, God, I see that skinny guy where you could see my ribs through my back. I see that person in the mirror if I don't work out for a week or two. I have to constantly be working out, which is ridiculous. And I'm sure lots of people can relate to this. But I think like Gareth's a good mate of mine, and I know that he's in a much better place now. So Gareth, if you could kind of explain that you're in a better place now, and how you sort of got over that barrier and sort of accepted the fact that, like, I guess just being happy, and kind of not being so obsessive with one thing just kind of makes you feel a bit better and tackles that barrier. But anyway, you take over and you tell me about this.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely in such a better place. I've never felt as comfortable in my own skin as I do now, and it's taken me a long time to get there. And I think it's probably only in the last year or so that I've properly got there. Like I've had moments and stuff like that, but literally the last year I've just felt it's okay to have a bit of meat on me, or it's okay to not be working out every single day. And I still have days like I don't do well if I don't work out. I get agitated, but that's just in myself because I need to be running around because I've got all this energy. But also I've got a 3-year-old that I run around and he keeps me on my toes, and it's one of those things that I also think since having a little one I've been a lot more relaxed in the sense that he loves me for no matter how I look, and I've never sort of saw that, and my wife, she says the same thing, that like she doesn't care what I look like, and it's all in my head. And yes, it is one of those things that I train and work out for myself, but also because I want to look good. It is that sort of vain issue which a lot of people sort of have. Not everybody does, but it's a sort of like mixture of it. Like I'll walk past a mirror and there'll be days where I'm like, yeah, I look good, and there'll be days like, oh, don't look at me, I'm so chubby. Like, oh, look at my cheeks, or like, oh, look at that bit, and so you do. I think everybody has that sort of battle, and so it's normal. But yeah, there are extreme cases that you can go through, and yeah, when I was younger, it was bad, and I'll definitely send over a couple of pictures and stuff. And it's one of those things that, like, I like to cycle, I like lifting weights, I like doing all sorts, and as long as I'm moving and doing stuff, I feel great. And it's also finding those people that you can work out with. Like, I used to work out by myself, and I couldn't work out with other people. In the last couple of years, like, I've been working out with Sam and stuff, and I absolutely adore it because you've got that sort of you've got the person to push you on, as well as you sort of like, I'd like to think that sometimes I push him on, and so you have that sort of banter and stuff. But yeah, it's yeah, I'm definitely in a better place, man.
Yeah, I mean, like absolutely, like completely agree with you there. And like working out with somebody is although sometimes you want to put your headphones in and just get in the zone and ignore everyone else, that's cool. But quite often, just even just having a laugh with somebody when you're working out, it's like going down the pub and having a laugh, but you're at a gym having a laugh, lifting weights or doing cardio or whatever it is. That being said, we're in a lockdown, so that's a bit rubbish, but you get my drift. The other thing is, I want to ask you, Gareth. What has as working out done for you, like is in like, we know science, we can go down the science route and how like it releases endorphins and all of that, we know that, but how does that actually relay into real life? So for example, with myself, because I was always this skinny person, my posture was bad as well because I didn't have the muscles in my back. Like some mates used to take the piss out of me and call me Mr. Burns because I was like hunched over all the time like this. So since weightlifting and building a physique, I stand taller. And one of the early comments I got, which was surprising, was, have you got taller? And it's because literally my posture was better. So that's one thing that like massively improved for me. So I just want to ask like what it's done for you. How's it made you feel better? Yeah.
Okay, I know this is going to sound corny, but it is one of those things that, obviously, working out and stuff, like, it's changed my life. It is a way of life and stuff like that, but it sounds weird, but I actually have more energy, I'm more awake. It's like I'm recharged after I've been to the gym. And it's one of those things that if I don't work out, I get tired, I get fatigued, I get grouchy. And I suppose it's similar if I don't have a coffee in the morning, but on a completely different sort of level. And so working out has, it sort of gives you a purpose in the sense that, like, yeah, stepping out of that door and going for that run or going to the gym, taking that first step is always the hardest. And it's sort of like there's days where you're like, oh, I really can't be asked to do this. But then you'll get there, you'll do it, you'll love it. And it's one of those things that you just, the more I do, the more charged I get, the more energy I have. I'm just like, and I just feel great for it. It's helped with my mental health, my self-esteem, and it's also like it's a great way to make friends and talk about things. Like, I've always been very fortunate that I've had, my dad's ex-military. I've always had very good posture that I've been taught to sort of like pull yourself up from this point, and so I've always had that sort of um, approach. Sorry, not approach. Statue, and it's one of those things that if I don't go to the gym, I'm missing something. Bit of me is missing, and like my little boy, he does great impressions. He keeps going around picking up these little weights, going, "I'm big and strong like Daddy," and it melts my heart, and I love it. Yeah.
No, I absolutely love it. Love a bit of cheese, love the corniness, and you're completely right. More energy changes your mood, right? It just makes you feel better. It's a gift that keeps giving. Working out, you keep doing it, you feel great. It's good. And the friends thing is, yeah. I mean, that's how we met. So yeah, it's because it's like anything, isn't it? You're in a situation with like-minded people. So yeah, up is Instagram. Now I love Instagram because my business is pretty much run off Instagram. So all my stories, everything I'm doing, the most up to date you will keep with me and my business is through Instagram. So from that point of view, it's good. However, and this is a big one, influencers that have got like millions of followers and all these people. Instagram was designed basically as an amateur photography app. So you've got people that basically lie. So so like I could make myself look like I have 10% less body fat than I actually have, and I can make myself look twice as big than I actually do by simply taking a picture at a certain angle with certain lighting. Like even now, like if I sit like this, or if I sit like this and do that to the side, like, but if I get the right lighting right and everything, and all young people and people in their 30s and 20s are on Instagram, and they will look at these pictures of people and get really, really upset with the fact they can't achieve that. And what's mind blowing is that most of the people that look like that don't actually look like that. And people that have got like ripping abs and everything and massive chest, the ones that do, that are like say doing a bodybuilding show or something like that, they'll only look like that for like a small percentage of the year for their show day. And it's just so bad for people's heads. They look at these images and go, I want to look like that, I want to look like that, and most of it isn't achievable. It's this kind of false image, and I've been waffling on a little bit, but I wanted to talk to you about Instagram, get your take on it, because I love it and I hate it.
Oh, dude, what a great subject. I love Instagram and I hate Instagram. Obviously, I'm a photographer, so I know all about lighting and angles and stuff like that. And it's one of those things that there's so many people on there that have different sort of body images and things like that, doing all different sort of stuff. And like, yeah, there's a lot of people that I follow that do shows, and they spend years getting into that sort of physique and shape and the things that they have to go through. And yeah, they're on stage for an hour or two, and their body is at its finest, popping, and then they'll go do a shoot, and again you'll be working with a photographer, getting to stand in all those different positions, looking in certain ways, so the certain muscles pop and stuff. And I would love to do that one day, like as on my bucket list. I'd love to get on stage and be in the best physique I'd ever want to be. But I know it's a hard stretch, and it's one of those things that it is brutal, and there's many people out there that you could talk to that know this a hell of a lot better, and could explain the sort of things that they go through and what they have to do on a daily basis. And it's like you're not going to have sort of average Joe down the gym. He's working out once, maybe 3 times a week, and he's got 2 jobs. He's working during the day. He's got 4 kids. He's then working at night, so maybe only sleeping 2-3 hours a day, and it then doesn't give your body that time to recover and sort of build up. And so it is a very strict routine that you have to follow and stick to. But sorry, that's a different subject. So yeah, Instagram. it's one of those things that it is wonderful and it is terrible all at the same time. I love Instagram because, again, my photography business, and also my PT business and handyman stuff. But again, it's one of those things that you get people like yourself who are true inspirers, that you'll share stuff and you'll be genuine, and you'll be trying to help people and all these different things that are out there. But then you'll also get the sort of people that are just posting the good stuff, and so you'll just be like, why doesn't my body look like that? I'm doing exactly the same as them. Why is this not happening? Why is that not happening? I'm eating the same as them. I'm training the same as them. What's going on? Again, everybody's body's differently, so how you train is going to be different. It's like when me and Sam train together. He's better at certain things than I am, and vice versa. And it's one of those things that our bodies are completely different, and so how we train is going to develop them differently. And you can be on Instagram one day and you're like, oh, I'm having the best day ever, and you're like, cool, yeah, this is great. And then if you're on Instagram on your worst day, you're feeling like crap. You're looking at like, oh, why is everything going great for everybody else? You've also got to remember, people only share the good stuff on Instagram. Like, you do occasionally share the bad stuff, but the majority of the time, it's a platform to shout, hey, look at me, like, how good am I? And so yeah, like, I love Instagram, I hate Instagram at the same time as well. And so yeah, it's one of those things. I hope that answers your question, man.
Yeah, I think we could keep talking for hours on this subject, to be honest. And what you said about people spending years training for years to develop that physique. The average Joe shouldn't, like you say, the average Joe that just works out to be a bit fitter and a bit stronger or whatever, shouldn't look at these people, these influencers, and think, why can't I look like that? Because like you say, like, it's that everything comes into play, and it's more complex, and also Instagram lighting lies. So if I remember, I'm going to drop an image of a funny thing I did on my Instagram now. If I remember, I'll put it in there. Just the average Joe just shouldn't feel bad about their body because of some random person on the internet that's got 50,000 followers, because they keep putting flashy lighting on their abs and they shave their stomach. It's just, it's just not for the average person. Right. Well, I think that wraps it up. I hope we've kind of covered most basic things. Gareth, it's been a pleasure, and I will hopefully see you soon if we get out of this damn lockdown. But I will definitely talk to you soon. And if you haven't done already, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to interview various other people, and each person I interview, I'm going to cover a different subject. And hopefully we can turn this into a bit of a regular thing. See you soon, mate.
Dude, thanks for having me on. It's been awesome. Like, yeah, I think you're going to go far with this. It's such a genius idea, and there's so much to talk about. There's so many different subjects. So, yeah, thanks for letting me be one of your guests, and I look forward to seeing who your next guest is, man. And yeah, awesome. Have a good one.